All right, in this video, I might tell you something that could contradict something another treatment provider has told you. I'm going to tell you what we think, I'm going to tell you why we think that, and then you make the best decision for you. If your loved one is in residential treatment particularly, before they get discharged or come home or transition, they may encourage you to make some sort of home contract. Now, they may not call it a home contract. They could call it a recovery plan or put whatever kind of spin they want on it. But if it involves like you coming up with all these rules and black and white statements and if-then kind of situations, I want you to be very careful about this. We here at Hope for Families, we're not the hugest fan of home contract. The reason is because I believe that home contracts don't really sort of restrict the person or back that person into a corner, even though that's what you think you're doing. It backs you into a corner. Listen, you're dealing with an addict or an alcoholic. They're not scared to break a rule. And if you think just because you said, here's rules, and if you don't, then this, and they're going to follow that just because you said that, and they sign their name or something official, don't be ridiculous. Like, this person has already broken so many rules and promises and contracts. What makes you think this is going to be different? Don't be silly. Now, you, on the other hand, you're probably, you got a little more integrity going on lately. You're going to feel really bad if you don't stick to the rules of the contract. What will happen is you try to hold them to the rules of contract, and you're just a nagging, complaining, uptight, ridiculous control freak. But if you don't do something on that contract, they're going to hold it over your head, and then you're going to feel bad about it. So, for example, if you say something like, if you have clean drug tests, then you can have your driving privileges. Well, what are you going to do when you're drug testing them and the tests are clean, but you know full darn well that something's up and it's sketchy and that they're using something and you don't know how they're passing those screens, but they're passing them? Now you got yourself in a corner, right? Because you said on the contract, if you're passing your screens, then you have your driving privileges. Now you're in trouble, right? Because they're going to hold you to that contract. You're going to find yourself in a tight situation. The other reason why we advise against these kind of black and white situations is you just don't know what in the world is going to get thrown at you. If at all possible, stay out of any situation where you say, if you relapse one time, you're out and that's it, and you're on the street forever and ever, amen, you're never coming back. Try not to say that because you probably really don't mean it. Like, let's get seriously honest with yourself. Especially if this is your kid, you're probably saying that because you think they're going to know I mean business, and they're going to totally not cross that line because, who would lose their place to live? Who would do that? An addict or an alcoholic. So unless you're really, really sure that that's what you can do, you're going to do. And if you're a parent, you got to make really, really sure that your other parent's on the same page, because even you might be ready, but the other parent's not ready. Don't say it until everybody's ready to enforce that. And you need to go into it thinking that's going to happen. Don't think because you put it on there it's not going to happen. It's probably going to happen. Try not to put that. That doesn't mean that you are like, well, you can live here and do whatever. You're not saying that. You're just not putting it in writing. If the time comes and it's really bad and you want to put them out, heck, put them out. You're going to know when it's time if you want to. You're not going to be able to take it anymore. You're going to be looking at them and say, I cannot deal with this one more second, and you got to go. And your spouse may be on the same page or whoever else. You'll know when you're there. You don't have to put it in writing. You can say something general like, hey, I'm just going to tell you, I ain't going to put up with this forever, so I'm not going to let this make my life crazy, so I don't know what I'll do, but I'm going to do something, so make sure you keep it together. Something like that. Something more general, not black and white. I've seen parents do things like, if I found drugs in this house, I'm going to call the cops. You can do that, but make sure that's what you want to do. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying if you say it, then you got to back it up. And I'm all about leaving yourself the flexibility in the room to make whatever game time decision that you need to make in the moment. At Hope for Families, the rule is have the least amount of rules possible. And I know that seems crazy dealing with addicts and alcoholics. It doesn't mean that we just let whatever go on. It means that we leave ourselves the power and authority and control to make what we call a game time decision. That's based on a particular circumstance and a particular time. We'll make whatever decision needs to be made. For example, let's say your loved one has done really well and they're 9 months sober. They've been doing great. They're going to meetings, have a sponsor. Things are wonderful, but they go out and have a slip. If you've got it in your home contract that this big, horrible, giant, nasty thing happens if they have a slip, you're going to feel kind of bad about it because they've had a slip, they were doing really good, they told you about it, they went to me and they picked up a white chip. Now you're in a bad situation because you're like, well, do I do what I said I was going to do? Do I give them a chance? You just don't know what kind of situation you're going to be presented with, so leave yourself the option. Hope for Family says, ixnay on the home contracts. All you're going to do is be putting yourself in a contract. It'll work on you, it's not going to work on them. Leave yourself the option. Doesn't mean you can't make those hard decisions. It just means you can make them when you're ready to make them, as you need to make them, and as they fit the situation.